Are you feeling like you're just constantly running on fumes? Well, what if I told you the secret to getting more done isn't about pushing harder? What if it's about embracing a little something called elegant laziness? In this explainer, we are going to unpack a much smarter way to live and work, one that doesn't end in burnout.
So, does this sound familiar? You're expected to be on all the time, 24/7, like a power plant that just never, ever shuts down. But what happens when that grid gets overloaded? You know it, you short circuit. Let's talk about how we can prevent that blackout from ever happening.
Okay, so let's completely reframe how we think about burnout. I want you to imagine you're a pressure cooker. Now, the issue isn't the heat and pressure. That's just life, right? The real problem is when you forget to use the release valve. See, burnout isn't about doing too much. It's about holding on to way too much pressure for way too long. So, how do we actually start releasing some of that pressure? Well, our first tip comes from a pretty unlikely source of wisdom: cats. I mean, think about it. They're absolute masters of managing their energy. They'll have these intense bursts. They sprint, they pounce, and then what do? They find a sunbeam and just completely switch off. This, my friends, is the art of micro-laziness. Come on, let's be honest. We have all done this. We sit there for hours, thinking that just pushing through is a sign of productivity. But the science actually shows our brains can only truly focus for about 45 to maybe 90 minutes at a time. Anything after that, it's not deep work. It's just, staring at a screen. Here's the difference in a nutshell. Over on one side, you've got marathon work. It's long, it's draining, and honestly, the output is pretty low. But on the other side, you've got the cat-like approach. Short, intense bursts of focus, followed by real rest. It's all about being strategically lazy to get way better results. So, how do you actually do this? It's a really simple but powerful method. You work for 50 minutes, deep, focused work. Then, and listen, this part is absolutely non-negotiable. You take a 10-minute offline break. And I mean offline. No scrolling. That's just trading one screen for another. You got to get up, stretch, look out a window, and let your brain actually recharge. Okay, so managing your own time is one thing. But what about when other people's priorities start draining your energy? That brings us right to our second tip. You have to master the art of saying no. It's time to stop paying what the source material calls the nice guy tax. So what exactly is this nice guy tax? Well, it's that hidden cost you pay every single time you reluctantly say yes. Yes to a dinner you don't want to go to, yes to taking on a task for a colleague that isn't yours. Look, your energy is a finite resource. It's not some all-you-can-eat buffet. Every time you say a reluctant yes, you're spending your precious mental currency on things that just don't matter to you. But here's the good news: saying no doesn't have to be awkward or mean. There's a simple little formula for an elegant refusal. First, you start with an affirmation. Wow, that sounds like a really great project. Then you add regret. Unfortunately, my plate is just totally full right now, and I wouldn't be able to give it the attention it deserves. And finally, offer an alternative. Have you considered asking Sarah? Or maybe we could revisit this next month. See? It's respectful, it's firm, and most importantly, it protects your time and your energy. It's not just people who are constantly demanding our attention, it's our devices too. And this brings us to a very modern kind of exhaustion: information overload. Every notification, every little ping, every single headline, it's like a small withdrawal from our mental energy account. I want you to just look at this number: 1 hour. I promise you, this single hour, if you use it correctly, can completely transform your ability to rest and recover. So here's the big idea. Create a digital no-fly zone for the last hour before you go to sleep. Put the phone away, like in another room. Let your brain actually disconnect from the algorithm's endless feed. Maybe read a real book, talk with your partner, or just be quiet. This simple act can upgrade your sleep from barely functional to 5-star luxury. And this isn't just about bedtime either. You can take back control during your entire day. Go into your settings and mute all those non-essential notifications. You get to decide when to engage with your phone, not the other way around. Reclaiming this sense of control is an incredibly powerful way to reduce that constant low-level anxiety that so many of us feel. All right, so we've talked about being more efficient with our work and with our boundaries. And now, I'm going to tell you to do the exact opposite. Because to truly recharge, we need to embrace the joy of inefficiency. We need to find hobbies that are wonderfully, gloriously useless. So let me ask you, straight up, what do you do that has absolutely no goal, nothing to do with self-improvement or networking or making money? Is it building a puzzle? Maybe it's gardening. Or maybe it's just sitting on a park bench watching the world go by. We all need an activity that we do simply for the pure, unadulterated joy of it. And believe it or not, there's a real scientific reason this works so well. When you're doing something joyful and low stakes, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system. That's your body's rest and digest mode. This is what allows for what's called deep repair, a level of mental and physical recovery that just mindlessly scrolling on the couch can never, ever give you.
So, you've protected your energy during the day. You've found a useless hobby for your personal time. But what about that tricky transition between the two? The problem for so many of us is that even when we physically leave work, our brain doesn't clock out. And that's where our final tip comes in, the shutdown ritual.
Ever find yourself thinking about tomorrow's report while you're trying to eat dinner? Or checking emails right before you go to bed? As the source puts it so perfectly, this isn't rest. This is paid imprisonment, without the overtime pay. You are still on the clock, mentally, and it is absolutely exhausting you.
The solution is to create a ritual that basically screams, end of day, to your brain. It can be something really simple like changing your clothes or playing a certain song. But the most important part is the brain dump. Get a piece of paper and write down every single work-related task or worry that's still buzzing around in your head. Then, and this is key, physically put that list away. You're telling your brain, hey, this is all captured for tomorrow. You are now officially off the clock.
You know, when you boil it all down, all of these tips point to one simple, fundamental truth. You are not a machine. You are a human being, and you need rest and sleep and moments of quiet to actually function. No deadline or project is worth sacrificing your well-being for.
So, I'll leave you with this challenge. Don't try to do everything all at once. That's just another path to burnout. Just pick one small thing. What is one small act of elegant laziness that you can commit to today? Are you going to take a real 10-minute break? Say a polite no to something? Or maybe finally create that shutdown ritual? The power to reclaim your energy is right there, in that one small choice.